For more on this, we're now being joined by Ambassador Humayun Kabir, live from Dhaka. He's a former Foreign Secretary for Bangladesh and the President of Bangladesh Enterprise Institute in Dhaka. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. To begin with, Ambassador, what's your assessment of the situation in Bangladesh? Of course, you know the protesters, they tried to storm the presidential palace. Do you think the president will give in to the pressure and perhaps it's time to step down?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for taking me in. The problem is, I think the president himself has created a problem for himself. On 8th of August, when the new government was sworn in, and then he mentioned earlier that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had submitted a resignation letter to him, and based on that, he sought the advice of the Supreme Court, and based on that, the interim government was sworn in on 8th of August. And a few days back, he gave an interview with a local newspaper. There, in response to a question, he said that he didn't have the resignation letter of the then Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And that created a new environment. Now, the students who have been the real power behind this agitation, they are now very unhappy. And yesterday they agitated in front of the Banga Bhavan, which is the president's house. And there is a momentum developing on the idea that the president has violated his oath of office, and therefore he should resign. I think the chief advisor this morning met with the BNP leaders, and I think the political parties are also coming around, and people are thinking that maybe he was trying to do something which is not very clear, and that's why I think there is a feeling in Dhaka that it would be better for him to resign. The question is, if he resigns, then what comes up? There are reports in the press that two of the advisors met the Chief Justice yesterday, and the speculation is that if he resigns, because at this point there is no parliament or there is no speaker also available to take his resignation letter, if that happens. So some extraordinary measures have to be followed, or process has to be followed. And the constitutional lawyers, the interim government, and the student leaders are all consulting. So it looks like that there is a possibility that the president may have to decide something on his own. We don't know exactly how it will take shape, but as of now, the situation is slightly uncertain.
Ambassador, absolutely. As you mentioned, these are conflicting statements which has led to this uproar. That being said, what do you think could have triggered these conflicting statements? First saying that he had received a resignation letter, and then to say what he did last week, which has led to such confusion.
Well, what I can tell you is that for the last few days, there are rumors that the Awami League, some of the Awami League leaders were trying to organize a meeting in Agartala where they could do something and so on and so forth. So that really created a kind of tension. And as a reaction to that, some of the student leaders were organizing demonstrations and so on and so forth. Against that background, the president's remarks or observations came. And that created that, you can say, add fuel to the fire. And then the whole student community, those who are instrumental in terms of removing the last government, they became very restive. And yesterday, they came down on the streets, agitated before the president's house. And I think the government is trying to find a way out how best to deal with this situation. So I think my sense is that the president himself has unnecessarily created a situation that has put him in this kind of unpleasant scenario or situation.
Right. Well, Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us on WION World is One. Of course, how things pan out, that remains to be seen, something that we'll be closely monitoring. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.